This is a mistake. You brought us here because you had faith. Faith we'd uphold the values you've given everything to defend. So trust us. Trust yourself. And let's end this. You have no idea how to use it, do you? I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out.
We need to get started. Innocent people are dying.
We'll take the others, so you can focus on their Superman.
We'll do it together. It'll prevent more casualties. Then Superman. Doomsday's gonna be tricky.
Collateral damage.
I'll have to force that fight elsewhere. Anything else?
I realize this isn't entirely accurate, but it's good to have you back.
Kondak exists here, I suggest you go home.
Okay, hello and welcome to what will be the final episode of this playthrough of Injustice's story mode. Last time we played Wonder Woman's chapter and had one final fight as Batman, and today we're finally doing Superman's chapter. And first things first, we're getting cars thrown at us.
You're weak, hero. Your world suffers for it.
There's something kind of funny and a bit weird about, you know, a character as strong as Black Adam just kind of standing at a distance, throwing cars at Superman. And also, like, Superman is just blowing up all these cars. There's people in these. Like, Superman's been here all of, like, 5 minutes, and he is just, like, annihilating, like, dozens and dozens of people. I mean, I guess the people on this road are just very, very determined, or really just couldn't turn around. Anyway, it looks like we're most of the way through here. But also, like, I don't know.
There's no place for you here.
I'm no expert, but, like, I don't know. Even with being, you know, thrown by a very strong character, I assume Black Adam is one of the stronger characters in the DC universe. Is that accurate? I don't actually know. But yeah, I feel like, you know, throwing a car, if it hits them, it's probably still not going to do much. It's Superman, you know? Okay, cool. And we got all of them.
Superman modeled his government after mine. We allow no insurrection.
I'm no expert, but I feel like people can please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like insurrections aren't really something that you allow. They kind of just, you know, happen. I mean, I might be totally wrong on that, but yeah, that's a little bit strange. Also, we did all of that. He threw that many cars only to do that charging punch and then get countered with what I can only describe as the weakest looking counter punch I think I've ever seen. Which is doubly weird because, you know, I'm playing as Superman. Anyway, that went pretty badly, but honestly, the heat vision kinda just works for me. That should land. Got him. Okay, cool. First fight, done.
Your evil must end.
so super, was he?
Here's your chance to do what's right. I would take it.
Are you ready, Superman? To take on the might of Atlantis?
Yes, we are.
You're not wanted here.
Hello, yes, question for Superman. Where did that giant wave that you froze and threw away land? Because if that landed in a populated area, that's probably a whole bunch of people killed and buildings damaged. And even if it landed in the ocean, that probably did a ton of damage. Like, that probably had a ripple effect, you know? Also, there's something funny about Sinestro doing his, like, he did his big attack and suddenly just everyone stopped. Like, no, that, that isn't going to one-hit kill Superman. Which is, you know, I think everyone should kind of, be aware of that. You aren't going to one-hit kill Superman. He's Superman. Also, I think it's just very funny that after that, when being told, yeah, you have the choice to do the right thing here, Hal Jordan basically just goes, yes, Superman, sorry, Superman, it won't happen again, Superman. I mean, fair, he isn't winning that. But hey, speaking of winning.
I may not be wanted, but I'm clearly needed.
Superman, we've broken their ranks. They're retreating.
Good. Once they're pushed back, we'll need help with rescue and recovery.
I'll break off a legion as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Diana. You always make it look easy.
Let's get through this first. Then tell me how easy it looked.
We'll need to start. You'll live disappointed.
I love how there's the Doomsday from the regular universe just in the background, because Doomsday always needs to be in the background on this stage. Also, back when we fought Black Adam, there's something very funny about the idea of just having all these superheroes and supervillains basically just having their big dramatic, you know, end-of-the-world fight, and they're basically just having this huge fight in what basically equates to, like, they're basically just fighting in a shady back alley outside a strip club by the looks of it. Which is, you know, certainly a choice for your, for a location for your big superhero fight. Okay, so I'm gonna be totally honest, I do not know what Doomsday's deal is. Like, is he an alien? Is he something specifically created to kill Superman? I do not know what Doomsday's deal is. Like, I know that at one point in the comics he did successfully kill Superman, but I don't really know much else beyond that. Okay, he got the health regen, but if I can just keep him at range, I can comfortably win this. However, I also need to be a bit careful, because I'm pretty sure Doomsday is at least a bit of a grappler. I completely messed that up. I could not catch that, but that worked, and now I can just hit him with heat vision. Got him. Nice.
Doomsday's not today. I knew they'd pull you over eventually. You don't belong here. My obligations don't end at the borders of my dimension. I am this world's savior. I protect it. That's what's happening out there? Protection? Disobedient children will be punished. Children? We're not gods. We don't decide who lives and who dies.
The decision is mine. It became mine when Joker turned me into a weapon of mass destruction.
I know what you lost.
And you judge me?
After I've killed you, I'll bring Lois here. When she sees how I've perfected this world, she'll be afraid and disgusted.
She'll be alive.
Lois's death doesn't
He
just...
stole her from me.
You stole this planet's freedom. It's time to give it back.
Okay, so now we have the final battle, the Superman mirror match. Also, I love how even though we very clearly threw Doomsday into... what's it called? I think it's called the negative zone. Even though we very clearly threw him into, like, the kind of portal thing in the background in the cutscene, yeah, he's an important part of the stage and needs to be here, so, yeah, he's here now. Like, he's back. So hopefully we can get through this fight without too much hassle, but I'm not too confident about it. But I am very confident about Meter Burn Heat Vision, because Meter Burn Heat Vision seems to just be really reliable, unlike my ability to attempt to do combos, which honestly, and I feel like just spamming Heat Vision isn't exactly a very Superman way to win this fight, but hey, it's doing something. Okay, Superman's trait is he basically empowers himself using solar power to basically just make himself stronger. Because I know that he does like gain part of his powers from the sun or something like that. Okay, that's gonna whiff. Honestly, that went a lot further than I thought it would. That was a lot closer to landing than I thought it would. That should be it done. And though, got him.
Your reign is over. You won't terrorize these people any longer. Fear is the only thing these people understand. One day, you'll learn.
Superman's accomplices have been rounded up or turned themselves in. The next job is restoring civil order.
The transitional government has its hands full. We're here if they need help.
Thanks, but no. The people need to know they're in control, not us.
So you haven't changed your mind?
I respect the president's offer, but I don't belong in government. None of us do.
You think Batman has a future here?
Crime and corruption will return. Ollie would have called me a pessimist. I'm just being realistic.
And you're Superman?
He'll stand trial. They all will.
He was right, you know.
About what?
Put in the same position, I might have done the same thing. We never know what we're truly capable of.
I hope for your world's sake you never find out. Just keep this in mind.
Yeah?
If something ever happens and you do lose it, I'm coming for you.
You'll have to get in line.
Okay, and with that, we roll credits on the story mode of Injustice. And I am very split on what my opinion on Injustice is. I think part of it, I think a good part of it is explained away by me just being bad at it. Like, there is a distinct bit of a skill issue tied to most of my overarching thoughts on Injustice. But as for the actual story, I quite liked the story of Injustice. I like the idea of, like, hey, he has, like, alternate world, Superman is evil. I know that it's probably I feel pretty confident saying it's probably not the only time in the history of, you know, comics that there's been a, hey, he has an alternate world, but oh, the heroes are evil, or there was an incident and now the, and the Superman or whatever equivalent is now, like, the kind of, like, evil overlord kind of character. But as someone who, you know, hasn't read any comics really, I think that's kind of cool. So if, you know, the first time you see it, it's a cool thing. If I saw this, like, 10 times, maybe it's a little less cool then. But as for Injustice as a game, I am kind of 50-50 on it. Like, I like the idea of it. Like, I like the idea of it, and I don't really have a massive amount of issues with it in concept. But I think generally the game is more... I feel like generally the game seems a bit more on the defensive side, more kind of zoning-oriented, and also is very good with projectiles. And while I did use an awful lot of them in this playthrough, it's not my type of fighting game, really. Which is kind of weird considering when this game came out. So, this game was made by NetherRealm, and it sits in a weird spot, because Injustice is like a kind of slower paced, more defensive game, and then you have, and it just sits between Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat X. And those two games are, like, super aggressive, super fast, and it's a little bit weird that it kind of just slows them down a lot. Also, I don't know if that's meant to be, like, a teaser that Gorilla Grodd was going to be in Injustice 2, and I feel like it's a little bit weird that a character who isn't playable got so much kind of emphasis on, like, as a, like, hey, here's a cool, like, action shot of them in the credits when he isn't a playable character in the game. Like, I know he was in 2, same with Swamp Thing. I think it was, like, Grodd, Swamp Thing, Dr. Fate, Cheetah, Blue Beetle, and a few others were new. I know Supergirl was new in Injustice 2. Black Canary was in 2. Firestorm was in 2. Captain Cold was in 2. I'm sure that there's a few others. I think Deadshot was in. But yeah, anyway. It's a little bit weird to me how this game is much kind of slower paced, but it sits between 2 of the fastest and more aggressive Mortal Kombat. Because, like, overall, I don't think Injustice is a particularly bad fighting game, but it's not going to be one that I'm in a particular hurry to come back and play a mountain more of. Like, I'll do an Arcade Assault episode on it at some point. Actually, I think this is a Wednesday episode, so that might be Friday's video. But I'm not gonna be... But I have no real interest in, like, sitting down and really labbing Injustice, you know? But, like, it sits between MK9 and MKX, which I personally believe to be maybe the 2 best Mortal Kombats. I say maybe the 2 best Mortal Kombats. As far as I'm concerned, they are by far the best 2 Mortal Kombats. And obviously I did not show any of the, like, wacky, ridiculous things that you can do in this game. Because, well, quite simply, giant glowing neon sign skill issue, I'm bad at this. But if you want to see a good example, a great example of just how kind of goofy this game is and just kind of what could go on with it, I think it was, I want to say it was Sajam did it, and it's a video just titled something along the lines of, Injustice 1 was a competitive fighting game played for money. And he basically just goes through some of the wacky stuff of that was in this game, because there is some disgustingly weird and goofy stuff in this game. Obviously, I am terrible at the game and can't really just demonstrate a lot of it. Well, okay, no, some of it even I could do. I don't think I managed. Well, perfect example, on the kind of alley stage, in the back alley stage, Batman with the dumpster is maybe the best character in the game. Like, Batman with that dumpster is insane. But okay, so with that, we are now done with Injustice, and this is a Wednesday episode, so I need to think of something to do on Friday. I might do just another one-off, I might do an episode of Arcade Assault, I might do an episode of Arcade Assault on Injustice. In the event that I do decide to do an episode of Arcade Assault on Injustice, I'm not playing it on the highest difficulty, we'll be here for like 4 hours probably, because I'm terrible at this. However, one thing I do want to say that I really like and appreciate about Injustice is all of this. Like classic, heroes only, villains only, poison, survivor, mirror match, mystery, fully charged, combo and help from above, injured, give and take, sidekick, speedrun, all of these. These are variations on arcade mode. Like, these are all different variations that you can play of arcade mode, and I think that's a really cool thing to have. And I kind of wish we had more of those going forward. And similarly, Star Labs. Is Star Labs what I think it is? Yeah, Star Labs is basically like the challenge tower. It's basically like the challenge tower was in Mortal Kombat 9, where you just have a mountain of challenges. And I think these are really cool, and I really hope we see a return for something like these in the future. Mostly just because I think these are fantastic to have. It's just so much additional content. Also because because I'm playing the Ultimate Edition, there's also the DLC. The characters included, so there's like Zod. So there's Zod, Lobo, Scorpion. It's what? Zod, Scorpion, Lobo, Batgirl, Martian Manhunter, and Zatanna, I think? I think I missed one. Anyway, I think Star Labs is a really cool thing, and I think the way they did the battles mode is really cool. So at some point, probably on Friday, we'll have an episode of Arcade Assault on Injustice, and that'll be probably where I fully wrap up all of Injustice. Will I come back and do the story of Injustice 2? At some point, maybe, because I've never actually played Injustice 2. Like, I've never played that game's story. So I think that could be a fun little thing to do at some point. But with that, I'm going to end off this video and this series here. As mentioned like 4 times now. I'll probably have an episode of Arcade Assault on Injustice on Friday, and then a new series starting on Tuesday. And then I'll also have Persona 2 Eternal Punishment. Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, I believe, started yesterday, and that will be continuing tomorrow, and then will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week. But okay, I'm going to end off this video and this series here. So, yeah, as always, feel free to leave a comment or click any of the buttons down below if you feel so inclined, and I'll hopefully see you all either tomorrow for Persona, or on Friday for likely one final thing on Injustice, and then on Tuesday for a new series. But yeah, thanks for watching. Later.